So today we're going to GSI Coffee House, the outdoors. Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. Really looking forward to this video. I love coffee and I love the outdoors. And GSI Outdoors, which is a manufacturer of all kinds of cutlery and cookware for the outdoors, for the backpacker, for the camper. Today we're going to show you 3 different items that they offer that make for a great cup of coffee, regardless if you're just day hiking, overnight camping near a vehicle, or multi-day backpacking. So we'll be looking at the GSI Java mill, which will grind your whole beans into perfect espresso level coffee or coarser coffee if you need it. The GSI collapsible pour over and their Infinity Backpacker mug. So I hope you'll join me today as we break down these 3 items, show you what they can do and how they offer an excellent cup of coffee when you're in your favorite coffee shop, your local outdoor location. So let's go ahead and hop to it and see what these guys can do. All right, so we're gonna start here with the Java mill. I mean, if you're gonna go all out and you are just the coffee holic that you are, then you're gonna wanna have that fresh ground coffee and not be using pre-ground that's been sitting for days, or some sort of add water type of thing. So this is how this guy works. This is why I like this one a lot. It's got a polymer body, and I'll give you all the specs here in a minute, but I wanna show you that it's pretty compact in its overall dimensions here, and I'll annotate in the actual size. And that the fact that the arm still attaches to the body but collapses to the side is really nice. I liked that aspect. I had another one that was like a stainless steel version that was much heavier, and it was, I think, like double the price. But the arm, you just had to take off, and it was floating around everywhere, and I always seemed to lose it in the bag, or I was hunting around for 5 minutes trying to find it, and like, oh my gosh, did I forget it? And then you find it, and you're like, ugh. So this is nice that it attaches here. So simply your lid that pops off, and your grounds in here. Now for me, this will absolutely do 1 serving for myself. So what I'll tend to do is in the morning, if I'm going camping for the day or hiking for the day or whatever, and I'm gonna make coffee while I'm out on the trail, I'll just pour in my whole ground beans in here, and the seal is good enough that it keeps it pretty airtight in there, so you're not gonna lose aroma or make your gear smell coffee-esque. And I'll just let it rest and ride in there. So that'll absolutely do a good 12 to even 16 ounces of coffee with the grounds, the whole beans that you can put in there. We got ceramic gears, which is always a good thing in there. So then you just plop that guy back down on there. You have this little plastic cup, which is where all your whole ground beans are going to go into. And then you have your little adjuster wand here that you can adjust the fineness of the grinds. What I've found is that, or grounds, what I've found is that it's okay at adjusting. It's going to more than likely do mostly like espresso to, finer grind coffee, or it's going to go straight to like coarse. It's really hard to kind of get like a sweet middle ground. So I just usually go on finer because I like my coffee stronger. With that. So that's the operation. One other thing to kind of note is that the bottom here, I usually will put my finger underneath, because once or twice I've been cranking, going at it, and the seal is okay to hold this little cup in place, but once or twice this has fallen out on me, and then my grounds that I've been grinding, boom, just spill all over the floor, or all over the ground. So that is a small complaint I have. I would have liked to have it be like a bigger sleeve that actually went up higher, that you would grip up here. So I tend to have to put my finger underneath, and I just hold it and grip it that way, and then grind. That way I've never worried about this thing accidentally possibly popping off and then losing all my coffee grounds. You're looking at 9.3 ounces, so it is heavy. It is lighter than your aluminum or metal bodied ones, so that's a positive. But you're trucking around almost 10 ounces to grind your coffee. How much do you love coffee? I mean, that's a realistic question you got to ask yourself. And then our dimensions are 6.3 inches long by 2.5 by 2 inches. So that's just with the arm. The 2.5 is with the arm when it's laid down on its side. The actual body tubular diameter is going to be 2 inches in diameter. All right, so we got our GSI pour over here, and this is going to be a BPA-free polymer as well, which is really nice. It's going to weigh in at 4.8 ounces, so just under 5 ounces. It's larger than a lot of other pour overs, so it can fit over a lot of GSI's larger kind of like cup bowls that come in some of their kits. Like I'm thinking of the Soloist, some of those other ones that are more almost like a bowl, but it functions as a cup as well, that some other pour overs, even that I will show in this video, won't fit over their mouth. This is a very wide base, at 5.5 inches, 5.6 inches diameter, which is pretty impressive. 1 inch thick there. And what we have is the lid, and then we just have the body itself. This recommends using a number 4 filter. That's what I use and take with me. It does have just 1 pour hole. You could punch a couple more in there if you needed to. I have never had a flow issue or had it clog up on me, and I've had this for a year. And I make coffee not only at the house a lot. If I just need a single cup of coffee, I have like 6 different ways to make a cup of coffee at my house. But I'll use this pretty frequently. You know, I'll probably make 15 cups of coffee a month with this particular pour over in the setup. Now, it doesn't have any options to do this without a filter. You have to have a paper filter with it, so that's something you need to consider. Sometimes that makes cleanup easier, sometimes it doesn't. I do like the fact that the lid acts as kind of a place, so once you've filled up your coffee cup and you're trying to figure out what to do, boom, you can just put that right there, and it kind of rests and gives you a little plate to work with, and you're not having to dirty the bottom of it or trying to figure out where to put this thing. And will help with some drippage as well. It helps keep my counters clean if I'm doing it at the house, or your campsite, keep your camp table clean if you're doing it, car camping or whatever. So it absolutely does what it should do, which is make a good cup of pour over coffee, as long as you're using a paper filter. All right, so you've ground your coffee, you've poured your coffee. What is the coffee going into, and where are you gonna enjoy those delicious sips of elegance and caffeinated bliss? In your GSI Infinity Backpacker mug. Now, if you remember, almost a year ago, we did a heat test and just kind of overall concept test with the GSI Infinity Backpacker mug, an MSR insulated mug, and the Sea to Summit mug. I can't remember what they call it, like the Delta or something. Anyway, we tested all 3, and the overall bang to buck to value to heat retention, all of that, the best overall was this mug, and since then I have been rocking it and love it. The reason that it's awesome is the price that we're going to talk about in a little bit when we get to the end of the video. It's going to weigh 3.5 ounces, ultra lightweight, really like it. Most polymer backpacking mugs are not going to give you any type of handle. This has a nylon handle that's really well built, so you can attach it and lash it to the outside of your pack. It just gives you an extra grip point. Most other ones will not. You just got to throw it in your bag. It's 4.6 dimensionally, 4.6 by 4 by 3.5. So that's kind of the dimensional size there. 17 fluid ounces, or 0.5 liters. It's a polypropylene material, BPA free, obviously. It is insulated with this cozy. Here, I'll just show you real quick. So it's kind of a cozy or koozie with the strip, a little drainage hole on the bottom, and then just a polymer point. It would be nice to have measuring points in here for extra measuring when you're backpacking and stuff. There's no measuring marks in here at all, but that it's 2 cups basically to the top, which is nice. And then you do have your insulated lid here, or not insulated, but a lid with a cap over it. The cap will go in seat so it won't bounce in front of you. Nice little rubberized seal there, and a nice little rubberized gasket on the lid itself as well. The pour mouth is really nice. The valve makes sure that the pouring is easy. Pro tip for you, I've found that if you open the cap when you're putting it on, when you've poured your coffee, now it's time to enjoy, leave the little mouthpiece open, put it on, it'll seat really nicely, and then close the lid. If you do it with this, there's kind of an air suction thing that happens, and it doesn't always seat properly, and you end up spilling. So it's just a little pro tip that I've discovered. All right, so as I alluded to earlier, we're gonna hit price with you. This guy's gonna go about $30. So again, this is not for the faint of heart when it comes to coffee making. I'm not telling you this is how you need to make coffee. I'm telling you, if you're addicted to coffee, you'll love these items and some of the things we're about to discuss in the wrap up to this video. But for $30, links below over to Amazon. So thank you guys. If this does connect with you, if you are a coffeeholic, then click those links, helps me get out there. I purchased all this gear. It was not sent to me. I bought it with the funds that we raise here at the channel through the links that you guys use when you purchase gear, regardless if it's in this video or any other video in general. So I appreciate it when you guys use those Amazon hyperlinks. Now, the price on the Java drip is going to be about $15 to $20. I've seen it anywhere in there. They have a couple different color combinations for the pour-over system, for the collapsibility. It's very reasonable for what else is out there. Now, there's not a lot else out there for collapsibility's sake and like portability's sake for the outdoors, except for the previously reviewed Sea to Summit x-brew. Now, I really like this one for the fact that it has this mesh screen in there. so that you don't have to use a paper filter if you don't want to. Now there's a hot mess in there and you're gonna have to use extra water to clean it out and wipe it down, but there is the ability, and it works really well, to not use paper filters, or you can pop that mesh out and still use a paper filter. So for some of you, that is gonna be a major selling point. The one thing to note is that the diameter is smaller. Just to give you a little perspective here, you can see how much smaller the footprint is on the Sea to Summit to go over the mouth of a cup or a bowl than the GSI. The GSI is significantly larger, so it'll go over bigger cups and mugs, particularly that GSI also makes, that the Sea to Summit may not be able to handle very well. So those are food for thought, things to think about. This is also going to be about $18. So this, again, is only being able to use with paper. I think the Sea to Summit has more capability, but may not fit over all the items if you're building out kits that are GSI compatible, whereas this one has the ability with the larger footprint, and the lid is a really big bonus. When you're out in the outdoors, you don't have a table, you're backpacking, you can just put the dirty mess right there instead of having to try and find somewhere to contaminate the bottom of this. So pros and cons, food for thought, things to think about. And then finally, the mug, $10. Really inexpensive for everything that you're getting and the capabilities that it has to offer. So for this entire system that we've been talking about today, you're looking at investing about $55 to $60. So you have to ask yourself, am I really that in love with coffee? Now, me personally, I am, because again, I paid $60 to get all this stuff in my hands so that I could go out and make a fantastic, relaxing, smooth cup of coffee in my favorite coffee shop named The Outdoors. And this entire kit right here is going to be 18 ounces. So that's another thing you have to think about as well. Over a pound to enjoy a cup of coffee. Again, that's not going to be for everybody. For me, I love coffee, and it's like a therapeutic thing for me. I mean, I like grinding my own cup of coffee out in the woods. I like then pouring it over and, you know, making it and letting it sit and getting that really excellent taste, and then sitting around the campfire, sitting around talking with my buddies and sipping that cup of coffee. There's just something very special about it, and that's why I'm willing to carry the weight and lay down the cost. That's not for everybody, and I totally understand that. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's either showed you how much you can enjoy a cup of coffee out in the woods, or it showed you how crazy I am about coffee and that I might need to go see a therapist about my caffeine addiction. You're gonna walk away with one of those two feelings in this video, but I hope that it has helped you guys out decide what is the best item and whether or not this is a good setup for enjoying coffee in the outdoors, and particularly a portable system. So thank you again so much for coming over today, checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. If you have any questions, I'll answer those in the comments below. Again, links below for these items. Check us out on social media, Instagram, Facebook. That's a great way to see what's upcoming, projects I'm working on. If you're not a current subscriber, I invite you to become part of the GT family. We're throwing up videos like this every single week. It's a blast, it's fun, and we're just having a great time. Make sure to hit that bell icon. If you're not a current subscriber, or excuse me, if you are a current subscriber, you rock, you're amazing. Make sure that you hit that bell icon so the videos show up in the news feed, because sometimes, you know, YouTube messes with algorithms. And honestly, if you're not seeing the videos, just come to the homepage a couple times a week. I throw 2 to 4 videos up every single week. Just depends on how many I can crank out. And we always have a good time and a lot of fun over here. Finally, folks, thanks for joining us today. Always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. See you out there.